Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle from the March of the Quads puzzle pack that was released on my channel back in March. And the reason I'm doing this is because this was a really cool puzzle and I wanted to do a puzzle by Derektionary, but also because my queue is looking a little sparse right now. I've got a couple of puzzles that I'm trying to get permission to do and all of that. But until then, I'm just kind of at the mercy of what I can find. I've got some people who've sent me a list of a lot of puzzles and stuff like that. But I'm just, while I get stuff organized, I wanted to pull a puzzle that had been on my list of something that I wanted to do for a while. So I may do a vault video. We'll see how it all goes. Anyway, this is Say What by Derektionary. And of course, this is a quadruples puzzle because it was from March of the Quads. And I will provide links to the March of the Quads puzzle pack. Which was a pack of 40 puzzles, all based around quadruples. And it was the first time that I gathered people from the Skunkworks and we sat down and we just created a whole bunch of quadruples puzzles. And there's some amazing stuff we discovered about quadruples in that pack. And I've done several puzzles from the pack before on the channel. Today I'm bringing you Say What by Derektionary. So let's go through the rules. So we have normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. We have quadruples clues, which are these circles. And what they mean is when there is a digit in a circle, it means that the digit must be placed at least once in the 4 cells touching that circle. And then the rest of the clues, they may look like killer and little killer clues, but they are not. What they are is they are look and say clues, which I never saw before Derektionary created a puzzle doing that. And I've done a couple of look and say puzzles on the channel before. And what they are is you read the clues, and what they do is if you say the number, it tells you what you need to put onto either that cage or onto that diagonal. So if we look at the cages first, this cage you would read as 1 6. So you must put 1 6 in this cage. This cage you would read as 2 7. So you must put 2 7s in that cage. And that's what that means. Similar with these little killer type clues. This says 1 2. So you must put 1 2 on that diagonal. This says 2 8. So you must put 2 8s on that diagonal. That's the way it works. Let's give this a shot. So what I normally do is look for something like this, where this says 2 4 1 1, but I have to put 2 4s in that cage. So I must put 1 there because I can only put 1 in a box. So there'll be a 4 and a 1 in that cage. 1 5 and 1 2, so 2 and 5 go in there. I've got to put a 6 in there, that doesn't help. 1 4, 2 6s in there, so that's a 6, and then I have to put 6 and 9 in here. 2 8s in here doesn't help me that much. 1 4 will go in there. A 1 will go in there, which means this cannot be the 1, which means 1 must be down here somewhere. Now, surely these quad clues come into play. So I have to put 2 7s in this cage, but I can't put 1 there because in this box the 7 has to be here. So there'll be a 7 in here and a 7 in here. Now those 7s line up with this quad. And what that means is I can't put 7 in there or in there. So 7 is down here, and I can't put 7 in here because it's in here, and I cannot put 7 in here because it's in here. So 7 is over here. Now I've got to put 2 8s in here, but I could hide 1 in there. It's been so long since I've solved this puzzle. But what I can, I need to put 1 2 across here. So there'll be a 2 in one of those 3 cells. And there'll be 2 2s in here. Wait a minute, I've got to put 3 2s into those cells, but that's 3 boxes. So there must be a 2 in there, because I've got to put 3 2s along here. These diagonals don't see each other, but 3 2s in all of those cells, which only touch 3 boxes. So there'll be a 2 in there, there'll be a 2 in there, and it'll either be there and there, or one of those and one of those. and then one of those. That's interesting, but I don't know that it gets me anywhere yet. Can I do something similar? Maybe. So that's got to be 3 sevens, but I can't put a 7 there because it's not touching the quad. Can't put a 7 there because it's not in that pair. Can't put a 7 there because it's not touching that quad. Can't put a 7 there. Those are 7s. Those have to be 7s. So that's not a 7. That's not a 7. That's not a 7. That's very cool. Now, if I highlight this diagonal now, this needs 2 7s and 2 8s. Actually, so did this. But I'll look at that in a minute. I must put 7s in here. Now, I can't put a 7 here because there's already one in the box. I can't put a 7 here because it must be in that pair. I can't put a 7 there. It must be in that quad. I can't put a 7 there. It must be on that. And I can't put a 7 there. It sees that 7. That's not a 7. Both of those must be 7s. So those are not 7s. That's very, very cool. And now the only 7 I can put on that quad is there. That is very cool. That I also needed to remark. So 7 is now up here. 7 is now across here. Now, can I do the same with 8s? The thing is, with 7s, I got something from... Oh, but I've got this 2-8 clue, but I don't have the same restriction because I don't have the 8 quad in this box. Well, let's mark where 8s need to go. They can't go there. And then I need 8s there. So those are spots for 8. Now, I do need to put 2 8s in this box. Now, if I can't put an 8 there. Of course, if I put an 8 here, I can't put a second 8 in the box. So there is an 8 in there and an 8 in there. But that's not restricting the diagonals the way 7s was. But I can't put 8 there. Because 7 I could place off the line, whereas 8 I can't. Now, I've got to put a 4 in this box. I have to put 1 4 in this box, and that 4 is meaning it's not there. That is a 4, so that can no longer be 8. So now I've got 4 boxes with which to put 2 8s. And up here, I've got 4 boxes with which to put 2 8s. Hang on, I can't put 8 in any of those two because of the 8 quad, so they're not 8s. So that's narrowing it down a little. Is it narrowing it down enough? I don't think so. There's a 2 and a 5 in here. Now, 8, I've got, actually, no, I do have a restriction because 8 has to be up here and 8 has to be over here because of the quads lining up. But I could put 8 here and still have 2 positions for 8 on the line. But if I put 8 here and here, I can't put 8 here because then I couldn't put 8 in any of those. That can't be an 8. So now I do only have 2 positions for 8 on that line. They must be 8s. So those are 8s. That is not 8. These are not 8s. That's cool. And now I've fulfilled those clues. But now I still need to put 2 8s up here. Now, I still need to put 7 on this quad, which is in one of those 2 cells, by the way. So that is not 7, and that is 7. Okay. So 8 on this, if I put an 8 there, well, 8 is in one of those two, which matches up with 8 being in one of those three. But 8 in this box is not restricted. All the clues are pointing along this diagonal. Maybe I'll look at the 5s. So this one is done. I'm going to keep that because I need 2 8s in those spots, but I can repeat. If that's 8, 8, that is 6. And that can't be 6 because I need to put a 6 in this cage. That's it. I cannot put an 8 in both of those. So I can't put an 8 here. Can't put an 8 in any of the places where 7, and I can't put 8 in both of those, or that would have to be a 6, and it can't be because I need to put 1 6 in this cage. So I can only put 1 8 in here, so that is an 8. That is not an 8. That is an 8. That is not an 8. That is very clever. Now, I still need to put a 6. Well, I need to put a 6 in this cage. It goes right there because of the same logic. So that's not an 8. This is an 8. Right, I should have looked at that a different way, and now I've got the 2 8s. Should have looked at that a different way. Very, very cool. Now, 8 is in one of these corners now. So this is either... This could be 2 5 8, it could be 2 5 7, it could be 2 5 something else, and that could be 7 and 8. Sure. So I was going to look at these 5s. I need to put a 5 in there, and I need to put 2 5s along there. And this is, again, 3 boxes. So I need to put a 5 in one of those two, a 5 in one of those 3, and a 5 in one of those 3. There's no way to avoid that. But I'm not seeing how to... Well, 5 has to go in here, and 5 has to go in here. So this can't be 5. Because if this was 5, then I'd have to put 5 in here. And because of this 5 cage, I'd have to put 5 in here because I'd already... So this is not 5. So that helps a little. I've got to put 1 5 in one of those two. It's not as if any of those see each other. That's not a 7 anymore. I've done the 2 8s. I've done the... so hang on, let me just confirm. 8, 8, 8, 8. That's done. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. That's done. So what I want to do is I want to highlight the 2s. Actually, I'm going to do that in a different color. Now, I need to put a 2 in here, and I need to put a 2 in here. Because there needs to be a 2 in this cage, and there needs to be a 2 in one of those two, because I need to put 3 2s in green. So this is not 2, and I can make that not green. So there's 2 down here. So 2 is in one of those two. Which, unlike down here, means... Hang on, I took 2 out of... Was that right? Taking 2 out of the... Yeah, 2 can't go in there because it has to go in one of those two and in one of these ones. And unlike that, this now can't be a 2 because if I put 2 here, I couldn't put it on that diagonal. So now I need to put 2 2s in here. Now, if I put a 2 here, that would put a 2 here. And that's my 1 2. If I put a 2 here, that would put... It would mean I've got my 1 2 and I'd have to put a 2 here. But none of that does anything here. But it does mean the 2 is in one of those 2 cells, which means it's not in one of those, which means the 2 is there, which means that's not the 2 and this is the 2. So that's one of the 2 2s along here. But now there's only 1, 2 along here. So that is the 2, that is not the 2. And that is very, very cool. So now there is a 2 in one of these, which will be the second 2 along that 22. And this is either 1, 2, or 1 in one of those and a 2 there. Okay, not sure which. Very, very clever. I've got the 1, 4, I've got the 2 7s, I've got the 1 6. I still need to put a 5 along here, which means there's a 5 along here and there's a 5 in here. So this is a 1, there's 2 4s, a 1, and now a 5 in here. So this is 1 4 5. That's not 1 or 4, that's a 5. So this is a 1 4 pair, and that's the 1 and that's the 4 because of the 4 over there. So that will help. The 5 takes 5 out of there. Oops, 5 out of there, which puts the 5 there. 2 is now in here, which takes 2 out of that cell. Bye-bye 2, hello 2, and the 2s are now done. Now, that can't be a 5 anymore because of the 5 I put here. So 1 5 in one of those two, 2 5s along here. Now I can only put 1 5 in one of those, so one of those has to be a 5. At least. In fact, they're both going to have to be 5s, I think. But if I think about it this way, I can put 1 5 in there, but I need to put 2 5s along here. So one of those has to be a 5. If either of those is 5, that is not 5. So that is no longer 5. The 1 5 along here is now here, which means neither of those can be 5. Goodbye yellow. And that means the 2 5s have to be those. So yeah, both of those had to be. I'm pretty certain I saw that ahead, but now I've got it all in my head. That 5 looks up, making that a 5. I still need to put an 8 somewhere. Wait a minute, is that the only place left for a 7? Yes, it is. That is a 7. So 8 could still go in either of those two, I think. But this 6 is looking down. I need to put a second 6 in this cage. This is a scanning, I'm not going to say nightmare, but it is definitely challenging. 6 goes in one of those two. Now, what I want to do is run through all of the clues. Now I've got the 1 2. Let me just get all the diagonals out of the way. I've got my 2 2s, that diagonal is done. I've got my 2 8s, that is done. I've got my 2 8s, that diagonal is done. I've got my 2 5s, that diagonal is done. I've got my 1 5, I've got my 2 7s, and I've got my 3 7s. I've got my 1 5 and my 1 2, got my 1 6, got my 2 4s and my 1 1. I've got my 2 7s, I've got my 1 4, I've got my 2 6s and my 9 kind of, I've got my 1 4, I've got my 1 2 which will go in there and my 1 5, and I've got my 2 8s. So it's kind of just Sudoku. So 5 is in one of those 4. 5 can't be there or there or there. This is a 5. So 5 is now in one of those 2. And that's just leaving me with a quad on 5s. So what do I want to look at? Where am I most restricted? This box is calling out to me for some reason. 1, 3, 6, 9. Well, that can't be 1. Oh, that's unhelpful. This can't be 1 either. Okay. Okay. Not so much. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. That 7, of course, has put a 7 there, so that's done. Let's look at the 8s, because they were restricted as well. 8 can't go in any of those, so 8 is in one of those two. 8 can't go there, so 8 is in one of those two, which means that is not the 8, and this is the 8. So that's good. 8, 8, 8. 8 is not... 8 is now here, because this 8 is knocking it out of there, and but it had to be in that column. And then 8 is in one of those two, so this is an 8, this is a 2. This is not an 8 and this is an 8. So that is now done. So that will help. This is still 1, 3, 6, and 9, except I can't put one. Yeah, one. Yeah, okay. So this is 3, 6, and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, 3, 6, and 9. Can't put 6 at the top. Okay. So what is the digit I need to look at next? 5, 5. I've got my 5s in my X-wing. Is it 4s? 4 has to go in one of those two. This is a triple. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But 3 can't go in either of those because it's got to go in that. Look at the quad. Look at the quad. Be one with the quad. This quad needs a 2, which must go in one of those two. So that means this is a 2-9 pair. So that may help me because that 2 looks over making that the 2 and that the 9. Okay, right. So this is a 1-9 pair now, and there's a 1 looking at it. That is the 9, that is the 1. This is now a pair, 1, 2, 3, and 6. So that is resolved by the 6 in box 8. There is no 3 in either of those anymore. So that's the 3. There is no 3 in here. 6, 9. So this is 1, 5. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 9. Not yet, but I'm getting closer, I think. 3, 6. So these are 3, 6, and 9. And that has to be the 3 because of the 6, 9 over here. So these are not 3. This is a 1, 6, 9, so this becomes a 3. I get the feeling I'm missing something. There was a trick I used on previous puzzles, but it doesn't seem to be relevant for this, where on some of, I think it was on some of the little killer clues, for example, you would turn around and say, well, I could put a 5 there, but oh, no, I can't, because then I'd end up with 3 5s and the clue is 2 5s. That's an example. But that doesn't seem to have happened here, because I've got all the 7s, I've got all the 8s. How am I doing for 5s? 5s, neither of those places are where 5s are looking, and 2s, yeah, everywhere that the clues are looking, I've already resolved. But doing that, of course, has told me that that's a 2. So 2 is in one of those 2 spots. So that's the X-wing on 2s. Okay, I've still got a 4 in here. So, there must be a 4 up here now, because this is 1, 3, and 4. That can't be 4 because of that over here. So 4 is up here, which means this is not the 4 and this is the 4. These are 1, 6, and 9 if everything is correct. That's not 6. One, 3, 4. There's a 1, 4 looking at that. That is the 3. That is the 1. That is the 4. That is now the 9. So there's no, that is the 1. That is the 6. That is the 9. There is no 9 in here. That is the 9. That is the 6. This row needs a 9. This row needs a 1. So this is a 3 and a 4. And that is not yet resolved, but I will get there. This column needs a 6 and a 9, and that 9 is looking over, making that the 6 and that the 9. The 6 makes that the 1 and that the 6. This column needs a 2 and a 3, and the 3 here is making that the 2 and that the 3. This box now needs 1. Whoa, I typed something wrong there. That's the 2 and that's the 3. This box now needs 1 and 4. That 4 makes that the 1 and that the 4. This row needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and the 6 makes that the 3 and that the 6. This row needs 1 and 2, 3, 4, no, it doesn't need 1 and 2 at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 and 9. 1 and 9, and that 1 makes that 9 and that 1. This, that's the only place left for 2 now. That's the only place left for 5, so that will have to be the 4, which makes that the 9 and that the 4. Sorry, my scanning is not the best, but oh well. That's the 4 and that's the 3, and that did not take me 104 minutes. I just forgot to restart the puzzle again. Sorry. How long did it take? A bit over 25 minutes, or a bit under 25 minutes. So that is Say What by Derektionary. I really love the Look and Say puzzles, and I hope we get 1 or 2. I think I may already have one for the killer puzzle pack that we're working on. I hope you enjoy these puzzles. I think they're a very different constraint and a lot of fun to work with. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Derektionary for letting me do the puzzle. And as always, good luck with your solving.